So begging Mbetsi must be free in Zimbabwe, and you Zimbabweans have a duty to free yourselves and to stand up for yourselves and your children and their future.
At that, you will be able to see that weekly police do operations, arrest, and therefore Home Affairs then confirms if these people are illegal immigrants in the country. And without that, then they are able to deal with that across. So
let me tell you, no, I don't need your hand. Let me tell you this. We've got the right. We don't have to tell you and ask you. As the Department of Employment and Labor, we can come to any workplace.
Nigerians believe that when they are fleeing their country like cowards they are, to be leeches, nuisance, and parasites to other people's countries, and they get there with pompous attitude.
So now JACINTA is fighting for Zimbabweans. Now JACINTA is fighting for Zimbabweans for what the Zimbabwean government is taking Zimbabweans through. And also, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Development in South Africa has announced that the government is taking this seriously, and it is intensifying the search on illegal immigrants in South Africa. So wherever you are in South Africa, every corner, wherever, they are going to fish you out. They are going to fish you out. So be ready as an illegal immigrant in South Africa. I don't want to talk much. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You don't lose anything by liking. Just give the video a thumbs up. Let's go into the videos, watch, come back and talk.
Now, government says it is stepping up efforts to strengthen migration management, tighten its border security and enforce immigration laws while balancing South Africa's constitutional commitment to human rights and dignity. Earlier today, the Interministerial Committee on Migration provided an update on the implementation of its 5-point plan. Let's get deeper into some of that detail now. And to give us progress, we are joined by the Interministerial Committee's chairperson, Mamuloko Kubai. Minister, good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time. So the total number of 68,138 foreign nationals who have been processed for repatriation. Is this the sum total, or is this work in progress, you believe?
Good afternoon, Oli. Good afternoon to your viewers. That figure particularly is for the TRPC, or the work that we have done in relation to the migration work or the repatriation work that we have done between when we started with the Sherwood team until this week. So it's particularly only that you'd know that we have issued a number based on BMA figures that would be around 72,000. That would include other ports of entry such as OR Tambo as well.
There were questions during that media briefing where colleagues from the media were suggesting that some of the people who potentially could be arrested for being in the country illegally are now evading the major city centers and opting for either rural parts or those peri-urban areas where it is slightly difficult to identify them. How are you dealing with this on the ground? I know you said you're dealing with municipalities, but I want you to narrow it down. Who exactly is the IMC working with in order to make sure that the country indeed has people who are here and who can be identified through the papers?
But the issue of, I think they called it secondary migration, we'll have to do an analysis in proper to see if it's correct. We are experiencing secondary migration. But the issue mainly is that across the country, law enforcement agencies are expected to be able to deal with issues of illegal immigration, like we have reported in terms of Operation Shanyela that is taking place every time across the country. So if we look at that, we'll be able to see that weekly police do operations, arrest, and therefore Home Affairs then confirms if these people are illegal immigrants in the country. And without that, then they are able to deal with that across. So there was particularly mention about Maluti Apofo, which came across as a specific area that we have requested police to zoom into to see if indeed is correct, where one of the question came to say you've got Pakistanis, Ethiopians, and others who are moving into that area, and therefore, because they believe it is quiet. But secondly, we are working with traditional leaders, especially in rural areas, where they are able to give us data. Many of them actually have done an analysis of the people within their communities. They have requested indunas to confirm if somebody that is not known arrives into the community. This both to deal with those who come into communities, and then they do raids into communities, but also those who are running away from other areas into their communities. So we've been interacting with many of the traditional leaders in that regard and receiving feedback. But what we'll do specifically for this one, we'll zoom into it, because other times we've been given the leads by communities to say there's a particular activity that is happening in this area, therefore respond to it. That's what has happened.
Hi guys, I haven't recorded a video in a very long time, but I did say I would record one for the issue on Begin Bilumbedzi, as well as the 31st July protest of Zimbabwe. I've received a lot of criticism from South Africans who are claiming that we're getting ourselves involved in Zimbabwe's issues, whereas we haven't solved our own issues, and to them it doesn't make sense. And I've just got one request. I'm just going to ask for you guys, when we speak, to please listen to what we say as a movement. Don't dilute it with things that other people say or whatever the case might be. Because I've seen a lot of people claiming that, for example, we said that all immigrants must leave the country, whether documented or undocumented. Some of them have claimed that we have been promoting violence. There's a lot of things, which obviously we can't deal with propaganda and misinformation now. There's a lot going on, which is why I'm asking you guys, when we speak, listen to what we say as a movement. Don't listen to what people say we said. You know, if there's no evidence of us saying it, please don't listen to it. Okay. So here's the point of what I'm saying. From inception, from the get-go, from day one, we have always been consistent in the principle that we do not want any immigrants who are leaving this country, from any country for that matter, especially African countries, to leave and then leave in body bags, for example. We want them to leave in peace, and we want them to leave. And when they leave, the message remains, they go home and they fix their countries. That has always been the message. It's been consistent. It's never changed. So we're not saying go home in Zimbabwe and starve. We're not saying go home and start doing crime. That's not what we want. We're saying, when you go to your country, go home, fix your country, make sure that it works, not just for you, but for the future of that country, your children, and also of the entire continent, because that's the objective of what we want to achieve. Now, it doesn't take away from the fact that we want illegal immigrants to go. We want foreigners to go who are in the country fraudulently, who are here using the wrong reasons, who are committing crimes and all of those things. We insist on that. That doesn't change, because our country can't be a playground for all kinds of people who have messed up their own countries and now want to come to South Africa and bring that entire mess here. You know, we've seen the many incidents that people are trying to gaslight us about when it comes to the issue of foreigners and illegal immigrants and the behavior that they have in our country. We've seen zamazamas and the destruction that they brought to our communities, to families, you know, and we've seen even the drug dealers who are thriving in communities. We've seen the hijacked buildings. We've seen the crime. We've seen even the labor laws being broken in the country, where modern day slavery has become a thing. But that does not mean that we do not want them to go back to their countries and fix their country. Now, the important thing about Zimbabwe is that Zimbabweans are fighting an oppression that we also know and we see. And some of them are here running away from that very same problem. which is what we are advocating for Zimbabweans to stop doing. You can't keep running away from your problems because you're saying you don't have freedom in your country. South Africans had to die for this country to be where it is today. And one of the other things that I did mention was the fact that, if Black people can fight, oppression, colonialism. I know Zimbabwe was the first country to actually get its independence in Africa. So if they were able to do that and they were able to thrive and overcome all of that, why can't they now fight the same oppression just by a different skin color? So do we only see oppression when it comes from white people, even when our own people who are Black like us are oppressing us? We're saying we're going to fold our arms and act like we're helpless. That's not what we want. We want Zimbabweans to go to Zimbabwe, and whatever oppression, whatever issues that they feel they need to fight against, they must fight against. We are saying that our only role is to support. We can't go to Zimbabwe and fight for Zimbabweans, but we want Zimbabweans to fight whatever it is that they feel they need to fight, and we have to offer them protection. Now, if they feel that they don't have protection from their own government, and that includes them being persecuted or abused in any manner, then we need to step up as brothers and sisters. That is what it means to be a brother and sister. It doesn't mean that we're going to neglect our own fights and saying that Zimbabweans who are in South Africa illegally must go and fight for their country or and fight against their government. That's not what it means. It means that we're saying those that are still in the country legally must not find comfort. They must go back and face whatever demons that they are facing, instead of letting those who are in Zimbabwe fight alone, because it doesn't make sense. Unless Zimbabweans come together and unite and fight whatever issues that they face, whatever oppression that they face, they're never going to win the fight. But also, we can't sit back and say we want them to be persecuted or face all kinds of problems when we have an ability to help them. So we can use our social media, we can use our voices, we can use whatever we want to use to make sure that the plight of Zimbabweans is echoed, and whatever it is that they're facing becomes less of a burden for the people who are in Zimbabwe. And that is why I'm standing up right now and I'm saying that the government of Zimbabwe must free Bheki Mbedzi, because that man is one of the bravest people that I know. He stood there when everyone was busy criticizing South Africa and saying, no, South Africans are this and that. He stood firm and said that South Africans are not doing anything wrong. They're protecting their country. And we must come to Zimbabwe and do the same. And he didn't just end there. He actually came together with Zimbabweans who know what they want and who know what they want their country to be like. And they decided that they're going to set a date, which is the 31st of July, because they want to stage a protest. Now, nobody deserves to be abused and tortured and treated like they're a criminal just because they want to protest, and peacefully, because we promote peaceful protests ourselves. Now we're seeing a lot of threats and a lot of abuse going to people of Zimbabwe who are saying that they're going to be protesting on the 31st of July. And we've also seen Bheki Mbedzi being arrested for that. And it's absolutely heart-wrenching to see Zimbabweans who are outside of South Africa, who are in the diaspora, pretending as if this issue is not happening. So we have to step up and say that there needs to be justice served. People cannot be stopped from protesting peacefully. They're not saying they're going to go there, they're going to start burning things, they're going to start killing people, they're going to start whatever. They're saying they want to make their voices heard in their streets, in their own country. And it cannot be fair that the government does that. And our government is always acting like they're the big brother of Africa. So if you are the big brother of Africa, why are you not going to help the people of Zimbabwe and allow them to protest peacefully by telling Nangwanga to let the people of Zimbabwe protest peacefully the same way that we do here? But it only takes for the people of Zimbabwe to stand up for themselves as well. And we can only support what they start, because we cannot start something for you and then be at the forefront of it, because you are the ones that know what problems we face. And we are 100% willing to support, because we want Africa to work for all the people in Africa. We only just don't want South Africa to be bearing a burden of countries that it shouldn't be bearing. And I also saw that there's a lot of other Zimbabweans who are criticizing us and saying that we are not going to get involved in their stories. Why are we getting involved in their things and their issues, etc.? And I only have one thing to say. We did not ask Zimbabweans to come to South Africa. You came to our country and you made yourselves our problem. So now if solving the problem means that we have to make sure that your problems are solved so that you can go back home, then we're going to solve the problems. So the day you decided to come into our country illegally and you didn't ask us for permission, you came. We're also not asking you for permission. We're going to solve the problem so that the problems are solved and they can go and solve their problems. Otherwise, if we continue making this about feelings, it'll never be solved. Because a lot of you like saying that this is about South Africans not hating you, and you know the truth. You know the truth. You know that's not even true. You know that's not true. But we are not negotiating anymore, unfortunately. We're just going to do what has to be done because the problem needs to be solved. If we had done this based on how people feel, then I'm telling you much and much wouldn't be standing today, because people have felt a lot of things about us, including extreme hatred. Some people have even tried getting rid of us by all means possible. But at the end of the day, we remain firm on principle, because we know at the end of the day, for South Africa to survive, this has to be done. It's not about hatred, and we are not going to be explaining this anymore, unfortunately, because we can't watch our country crumble while we say and make this about feelings. So Begimpilo Mbetsi must be free in Zimbabwe, and you Zimbabweans have a duty to free yourselves and to stand up for yourselves and your children and their future. South Africa is currently going through a very serious religious takeover, you know, and it's not because we hate that particular religion or those particular religions. It's because those religions are not who we are. And We're not saying they must not exist. They can exist in South Africa, but they must never dominate in South Africa.
I think that's really well said, because we're on the precipice of that happening in the United Kingdom. We are in the precipice of our national religion being changed.
It's sad, eh?
Jacinta, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I can understand why the South Africans love you so much, because you're such an interesting lady.
I just want South Africans to love South Africa. Like, you don't even have to love me.
You're just a proud patriot, that's what you are.
Just love South Africa, guys. When we ask you to show up for these things, please show up. You know, people are being chased out, even today, was it yesterday? There's people being chased out by Somalis and all these people in their own country, in Vereeniging, in Krugersdorp. Can we please come together and really fight this thing? You know, it's so important, because I always say, can you imagine if we don't fight these people, the children that we raise, we call them or cheese girl, not cheese boys, to say that, you know, when we grew up, cheese was a very, you know, rare thing. You know, it was only had in homes where they were very rich, you know. So now we call them cheese girls and cheese boys because they live the life of cheese, of eating cheese every day. You know what I mean? And those kids will never be able to stand up to these people. Never. Never. And honestly, those children that we have brought into this world didn't vote for this government that we have. They didn't. We voted for that government, and we have a responsibility to fix this country for that government. And I'm pleading on you, South Africans, please come on board. I'm begging you guys, don't rest. This thing of thinking June 30 happened, now we must rest. There's no rest here. Or these people are going to get us out in our own country. We can't afford that. And really, I'm calling out, please help us with the international community as well. We don't want them to support us or do anything for us. Just echo our concerns, not this whole xenophobia nonsense. We just need platforms to speak our realities where there's people being chased out. Like, I got a call, the craziest thing happening, where a man bought a house. So there's this thing that Nigerians do a lot. It's a lot of Nigerians, and now I'm hearing that it's Congolese as well, where they know the laws of the country, right? You can't evict someone without following the law, right?
Yeah.
So they come and you and you say you're going to pay rent in my house, then you stop paying rent, then I want to evict you. But the law doesn't allow me to just evict you, right? So there's processes. So these foreigners are very clued up about the laws of the country. They're very clued up. So anyone who tries to evict them out of the house, they've already got a network of how they can buy the police or etc. Right? So I get several of these calls of people hijacking homes, and this is not something that the media ever talks about. They pretend as if it's not happening, where people are just like you come to your house, you buy a flat, someone finds it empty, they start living there. And you can't just evict them because the law doesn't allow you. You know, there's hijacked buildings, they take municipal buildings, they start building shacks within the it's crazy business. Then they go, so a person that called me was saying that the owner of the house came back to the house after renting it to this particular person. This person refuses to leave the house. And they've already got the police on their side, etc., right? So the person now went and created a shack outside their own house in order to live in the house because this person doesn't want to leave their house. On top of that, we've got zamazamas. Now, zamazamas is illegal mining. So there were all these mines that were closed down after they took out all the gold. But obviously, there's still some gold there because it depends on how much gold they can dig up, then they close. So these zamazamas are digging into people's homes, like digging and coming out of your bathroom, right? Because they want gold. It's mostly Lesotho people, Mozambicans, Zimbabweans, etc. But I'm telling you now, nobody wants to hear those stories because they don't favor the narrative of us being xenophobic.
Exactly. The same issue in the UK. It's the same issue in the UK. I can relate to that so much. If it doesn't fit into the narrative, it makes it look like the person who's given that message is just being dramatic and it doesn't really matter and it'll fix itself. But really the root cause of that issue is what you should be screaming about and everyone should be paying attention to it.
Yeah, it's so sad. And some of them are taking over shops. They so-called businesses that they claim they have. They don't pay water. They don't pay electricity. They don't pay taxes. They're just going on about...
I see.
So is this the person you want to?
Yes, and the other one. The other one is here, DM.
Oh, it's the two of them. Yes. You explain to them what happened.
Yes, they were
the Home Affairs.
Yeah.
Home Affairs.
Where's the officer?
You have explained to them exactly what happened.
So this is the...
Oh, yes.
Hello? Oh, so this is the older brother?
No.
Oh, so we'll have to take him in.
And it has been explained to you why you are being taken in. You are taken in for simple reasons. You are employing illegal foreign immigrants in your company, and it's a crime to employ illegal foreign immigrants in South Africa. We are not complying with the laws of immigration laws. So, but also with the labor laws, because I'm just deliberate.
Yeah.
The labor laws of this country also doesn't allow you to employ illegal foreign immigrants. All those laws are very important to us. So that is
Eight.
Eight.
That we found.
How many in total?
8. You have 11. You have.
No, it doesn't matter. That's your problem.
No.
Let me tell you. Well, let me take you. You know, for the sake that you think by employing more than 200 South Africans, you've got a right to employ 8. Wait. That's what you are saying. Wait, listen. They don't. We wouldn't be taking them. We wouldn't be taking them. We wouldn't be. No, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that.
My brother, when we come here, We come with professional immigration officers, people with the skill.
And you are doing a wrong thing. You are doing a wrong job by employing them. Yeah. No, we are not.
No, but it's fine.
Your arrogance.
You in for
me, your arrogance matters.
The issue of the 8 people who do not have the permits to be here. That's where it starts. That's where it ends.
Can we all live together or what?
No, don't worry. The police,
they will deal with you. Yeah, get into the van. Police, let's take him into the van.
With the Department of Labor before they all go?
Yeah.
You can go to the van.
I'm not right. I'm not resisting.
No.
Can I deal with you guys until we go? Because
no, you're not going to be with us. Why must you be with us?
Because this is my company.
But you are doing wrong things. You've committed a crime. You can't be with us.
They are taking you in, man.
Yeah, just don't. There is no negotiation now.
They are taking you in.
I'll get to the list.
We know that you have illegal foreigners here, as we are customers who are buying materials, a house material in your shop. We are here to tell you that we no longer want those illegal foreigners there. You must remove them. Then we want you to hire our people.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Can you remove those illegal foreigners now? Then we will come and give you. Can I get the data, please, of your illegal foreigners so that you will know how many people that you have to hire in our local community?
First and foremost, let me just say this. I think it's important that our government remembers that, yes, they've done a lot with the 5 flights and everything, but there are still Nigerians who want to come back home. Yeah. Remember, it's voluntary. Yeah. It's voluntary repatriation. It's not deportation. Yeah. That's number one. The other thing I've got to put out there before I answer your question is that if I were an illegal migrant in South Africa and I'm ready to go home and I buy my ticket and like, I've had enough of this country. Yeah. Do you know if I go to the airport, I will be arrested. I will go to jail.
Overstayed.
Yes, I will be arrested. I will go to court and I will be put in jail, even if I serve my time, even if I'm paid my fine, at which point I'm then taken to a place called Lindela. Lindela is a deportation center. There are over 90 Nigerians in Lindela. Unfortunately, I was going to try and sneak into Lindela. Maybe that's when they would have arrested me because they didn't give me official permission. But there are over 90 Nigerians in Lindela and people stay there for months, for years. South Africa is supposed to deport them. They are not deporting them. So we have to, I really need, I'm going to face the camera now because I'm going to say to President Tinubu, at this point, you really need to talk to your brother Africa, President Ramaphosa. And the first most urgent thing we need is there are Nigerians who are ready to pay for their own tickets. Kindly get us amnesty from prosecution. If we can get amnesty from that prosecution, they will buy their own ticket. Then they do not have to be treated like criminals. This is extremely urgent. Why? Because that's why they're all waiting for the repatriation flight. If you go with our flight, with the official government, you don't get arrested. Do you understand? But if you try to go by yourself, you will be arrested. I mean, it's criminalization.
They would need to leave the what did you call it, Lingela?
Yeah,
they need
Lingela.
to leave that place first before they could join.
Yes.
And that takes some protocols.
But they can't even, these are people that should be deported by South Africans, and South Africa hasn't deported them. It's not Nigeria that's supposed to deport them. That's number. But what I'm even saying is those who are also not in Lindela, those who are out and about, who are ready to come home, a lot are ready to buy their own tickets. We call it self-deport, right? Yeah. But they can't do it themselves because they will be treated. And that is the problem. The immigration laws of South Africa itself is actually quite xenophobic. In actual fact, I would say it's harder even on their own citizens. There are 4 million South Africans who do not have ID. South Africans, indigenous.
Nigerians believe that when they are fleeing their country like cowards they are, to be leeches, nuisance, and parasites to other people's countries, and they get there with pompous attitude that we are doctors, we are lawyers, we are entrepreneurs, we are smart, we are rich, we come from the great country, we are giants of Africa. They call that traveling. They say they are traveling. You and I understand what traveling is, right? We understand the definition of traveling. Yeah, it is where you go to another country temporarily for whatever purpose. It could be a vacation. It could be a business conference, a business trip, or whatever the case might be. But the purpose at the end of all of it is to come back home. Yeah, like your home country. But for them traveling, it is going to America and never come back to Nigeria, or come to South Africa, traveling, but they never go back to Nigeria. And we keep correcting them as South Africans, like, no, you did not travel. Yeah, you may have hopped on an aeroplane or on the back of a crocodile and came to South Africa and traveled. But the soonest you overstayed your welcome, you are no longer a traveler. You are now a criminal. Why? Because the country that you went to has what you call immigration laws. Just like South Africa has immigration laws, the United States have immigration laws, the UK has immigration laws, and everywhere else, including on this very continent called Africa. Africa also, the respective 54 countries have immigration laws, including Nigeria.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Jomo Sibia, the Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour. This is the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs. Who is the Mayor? This is the Mayor of Tshwane. Let me tell you. No, I don't need your hand. Let me tell you. This we've got the right. We don't have to tell you and ask you. As the Department of Employment and Labour, we can come to any workplace without announcing ourselves, or we can tell you that we are coming. And we have no right to stop us to come into your company. Already you are breaking the law yourself. And then you are telling us about trespassing. We tried to explain ourselves to you. You told about, you became arrogant, and it's wrong to do that. You can't stop us from coming to your workplace. It's our responsibility by law, by constitution. So what you have done already is wrong. So as I'm saying to you, who's in charge of the company currently? Who's the manager on site? The CEOs will come, but all that we need currently is the person responsible for the site.
That's why I told them now to come over.
Who is responsible? Who's the manager on site? Who's running the site right now?
There's different sites. Is it the site that
this site we are in? Who's running?
We're here.
It is obviously Rashad, and they.
Can we go to the office? Thank you.
Yeah.
Run the office.
Now you take us to
what we need to do. We don't have to ask.
So now Jacinta is fighting for Zimbabweans. Now Jacinta is fighting for Zimbabweans because she feels they are obligated and they have an obligation to support Zimbabweans. Some Zimbabweans do not really like what she's trying to do because they feel, why are you supporting us? We don't even need your support, and you are here trying to say you want to support us. This is like blah, 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 blah. But you know, let's be sincere and let's talk about something that I think I picked from what Jacinta said. If you listen to her and the things that she said, it is very true that some people just ignore the fight in their countries and they just travel out of the country and go to a country that they feel is safe, is developed, is working, and they live their lives there whilst their country is burning, whilst their politicians are just siphoning money from their country, and basically corruption everywhere, and they are not fighting that. Listen, this is something that I think it makes sense a lot for me. Let's not deny, let's not lie. Example is Nigeria. I will say this and I will say it again. Look at the population of Nigerians. Imagine if Nigerians decide that they want to fight their government. I'm telling you, it will work. This is one thing that I love about Kenyans. Kenyans will not blame anybody, but they will fight their government. No matter what, any little thing, they will fight their government. You understand? This is something that I don't see Nigerians do. All they do is rather travel out of the country, travel out of the country, travel travel out of the country, and allowing the politicians to just siphon money, being corrupt in their country, and they don't want to talk about it. This is the issue, and I 100% support JACINTA on this. I 100% support JACINTA on this, because it's about time. If you are in your country and your government is not doing what is right, fight them. People will get on alive, yes, but do you know what our forefathers went through before gaining independence for all of us? So why will you run away from your problems instead of facing them and solving them? So for me, I support JACINTA on this. I support JACINTA on this. And now, if you look at South Africa, the search has been intensified. Now the government is involved with the military, the police, and everything. So for me, if you are an African illegal immigrant, especially, and you are in South Africa, please just leave. That's the best advice I can give. Just leave, and that will be the best for you. Because even if you are in villages, they've now involved the traditional rulers and leaders. You will be caught and you'll be sent back, or rather, you will be jailed. So leave the country. Thank you so much for watching.